Hello all. The next step is to post the figures from the Purchases Day book to the General Ledger. So here you have, again, 3 figures to post over. The total goes to the Payables Control account in the General Ledger, and you credit it. So I'm always going to tell you what to do in the same order. So I always do the Sales Day book, the Purchases Day book, then the ACB, the Analyzed Cash book, and finally the Petty Cash. So you can kind of remember the order of things. So you know the Sales Day book, we've already done it to the debit side of receivables. So the Purchases Day book is kind of the opposite. So you're going to post to the credit side of payables. So if you think of sales is always due receivables, purchases is always payables. So here we have purchases and payables. So sales, receivables, purchases, payables. And if it helps you to remember P and P, so purchases is always payables, to help you remember. Okay, so let's do it. So going to the ledger then, the general ledger. Let's see. So this is the Purchases Day book now. So we're going to post to the payable. So payables. Purchases, payables, there we go. Now before we did a debit, so this time it's a credit. It's just the opposite. I'll show you here. So it's credit, the payables. So credit, the payables. And what's the figure again? The total is 24,108. 24,108. Okay, so what is this? Into the payables, it's purchases. Kind of the opposite of the name of the account. That's how I remember. Call it purchases. Right, next the VAT. Now, because the double entry, if this is credit, all the other two have to be the opposite, which is debit. So we're going to the VAT account and we're going to debit it by that amount. So the VAT account, down at the bottom here, we're going to debit it by that amount, which is 4508. So what is this? This is purchases. And you can see there on the opposite side what we did from the Sales Day books. They're kind of the opposites. If they're on the same side, you're probably doing something wrong. You are doing something wrong. So that's the VAT amount. Yeah. So going back here. Lastly is debit the purchases account. So back up to the top. Debit the purchases account. And we call it the opposite, which is payables. And how much was that? 19,600. Okay, and that's it. So we've posted all the figures, well, the 3 figures from the Purchases Day book into the General Ledger. And it's kind of the opposite of what you do for the Sales Day book. And you can see we've got the Sales Day book here, and we've added the Purchases Day book figures. So it's building up. So you need to practice this. I'm going to send you on a blank one so you can practice those 2. And really the key is to just keep practicing and practicing and practicing. And eventually, what seems to be quite complicated now, you'll find much, much easier and it becomes second nature. Believe me, you will get it. So keep at it.